When Commander Valentina Vale Han leapt from the top rung of Ladder C into Habitat 3's cupola, the entire cylindrical module spun to a halt. A ping echoed. The yellow status light went from AG to free float, and gravity, such as it was, vanished. "0 G brake," she sang, toes pointing automatically, ballerina-like. Around her, the dayship crew released whatever equipment they were holding, allowing tablets, pipettes, and an unfortunate half-open pouch of dehydrated lasagna to drift in blissful suspension. The bleary-eyed night crew who'd crawled into sleeping bags only minutes earlier shouted unprintable things in 6 Earth languages. That was tradition. "Timer is set for 30, Engineer Oswald Oz Mendoza announced from somewhere near the ceiling. He tapped the wrist panel of his suit and wound backward in midair like a somersaulting cat. "If any of you break anything important, you fix it. If you break something unimportant, you still fix it." "Why do you put me in the same category as something?" complained Dr. Greer, the crew biologist who was colliding gently with a rack of seed trays. "Because you're shatterproof, Doc?" Oz said. "Or so you keep telling us." Valentina slapped her palms together sharply. "Enough banter, people. We have a new test protocol to run. Help me open Base 6. A chorus of groans followed. Base 6 was where Fetcher 9 was stowed. Fetcher 9, officially the Autonomous Quadruped Reconnaissance Unit, Mark 9, was a $380 million robotic dog that looked, paradoxically, as though it had been welded together from piano hinges, high school trophies, and an espresso machine. When Fetcher was powered down, it collapsed into an unnerving heap joints, bent at unnatural angles, head inverted like a carnival mirror. When powered up, it moved with the unquestioned confidence of a golden retriever who has just realized the trash can lid was left open. NASA's original plan had been for Fetcher 9 to patrol the regolith, gather samples, and stand guard against, well, no one was certain, possibly aggressive tumbleweeds. But the dog's most successful application turned out to be morale. Oz tugged the hatch crank. The inner door hissed sideways, revealing Fetcher in stasis position, magnetically clamped to the floor. Someone, most likely Greer, had affixed googly eyes to its visor. They jiggled as the dog's optical sensors warmed up. "Hey, buddy," Val cooed, drifting forward. She tapped the power toggle and Fetcher 9 unfolded in a smooth chorus of servo whirs. Its titanium hips straightened, pistons in its hocks hissed, and one microfiber ear perked. Val keyed a command into her tablet. "Play mode 1. Fetcher farted compressed air, some engineer's idea of a joke, and bounced as if gravity were perfectly normal. Then its head. The head didn't have a snout so much as a snub-nosed LiDAR turret swiveled toward Oz's duffel bag. Oz turned deadpan. "You took my socks again, you little—" "Wrong protocol," Val said, laughing. "We're not sock hunting today." She typed another line. On Fetcher's chassis, a row of LEDs flashed teal. Greer floated by, cabin hair fluffing everywhere, grinning mischievously. "Am I cleared?" Greer asked. "You're cleared." Val extended a palm. "Pay up!" Greer produced a neon orange disc the size of a dinner plate. It was a prototype, Martian-grade, flexible polymer impact absorber, otherwise known as a frisbee. The science justification was thin, understanding aerodynamics in sparse atmospheres. The real justification was thicker. Astronauts get bored. Greer tossed the disc in an easy spiral toward Val. Without gravity, the frisbee traveled slowly, gliding like an oversized coin inside a snow globe. Val plucked it from mid-air and set 3 fingers along its rim. "Yo, Commander!" came Oz, who was now anchor-hugging, a support strut leg splayed. "Ground control didn't greenlight any fried egg toys in the habitat." "Ground control," Val shot back. "Doesn't have to live here for 18 months. Door, please." The crew yanked themselves outward to the aft airlock. Labeled Airlock E8, but unofficially named E-Gate, it was built as a mini-gym. Once sealed from the rest of the station, its internal fans purged dust, creating a relatively clean, mostly empty 10-meter chamber. Perfect for 0G baseball, broom kendo, and today's sport, orbital fetch. Val, Greer, Oz, Flight Surgeon Amira Shah, and rookie pilot Gus Riley assembled inside. The lock cycled shut. A soft beep signaled internal pressure match and the floor magnets retracted into the walls. Now they were truly weightless. 5 humans, 1 robot dog, and an illegal frisbee. So, rules, Val said. Frisbee gets 1 push only. Dog retrieves. First person to get beamed in the face buys tomorrow's rehydrated coffee. You still owe 3 coffees from last week, Amira noted. That's on my tab, Val admitted. Less talking, more launching. She spun midair to address Fetcher. Doggo, sit. Fetcher couldn't sit in 0G, but it folded its rear legs in compliance. Its chest thrusters whispered, providing counter thrusts so it wouldn't drift upward. Valena ran her thumb against the ridged edge of the disc. Playback device on, she whispered, angling her body like a discus thrower. Then she flung. Because there was no down and almost no drag, the throw was absurdly slow by Earth standards, yet mesmerizing. The frisbee slid like a bright coin on oil. It didn't curve. It print graphed a ruler straight line. After perhaps 3 eternal seconds, it passed overhead. Overhead, being relative, it nudged the lock's opposite wall. Instead of falling, it simply rebounded, almost the same speed, start of a lazy ping-pong cycle. Fetcher's head snapped around, servo horns whined, 2 air jets on its flanks puffed, robotic legs bicycle kicked. It shot forward at maybe 1/8 G, bounced off a wall intentionally in some doggy algorithmic trick-oriented, and lunged after the frisbee. That's cheating, Greer said. It's got thrusters. So do ya, Oz replied, smacking the manual oxygen feed on Greer's pack. A tiny puff zipped Greer sideways, arms flailing. Everyone laughed, Greer included, once he stabilized. The frisbee struck the ceiling again, ceiling being whichever plane your brain decided upon, and started a new vector. Fetcher angled like a greyhound. Each thruster burp was the quiet cough of air brakes. Legs extended, digits open, Fetcher clasped the disc. LEDs flashed victory green. Ow, 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 Gus Riley whooped, clapping. Give it back here, bud. Fetcher obeyed. It retracted its legs, rotated 180 degrees, and propelled a slow glide toward Val. Halfway, its path intersected Amira, who reached to pluck the frisbee. Fetcher's head twitched left-right as if to say, nope. The dog zipped up a meter, swung around her shoulder, and delivered the disc neatly into Val's outstretched hand. Told you, Val said to the group. He only delivers to thrower of record. Let me try, Oz said. Knock yourself out, Val replied, handing him the disc. Oz hurled. The frisbee pinged the far wall at a new angle. Fetcher raced, trailing a comical digital bark from its speakers. Woof, 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 woof. It grabbed the disc mid-bounce and pivoted. This time, rather than returning directly to Oz, it executed a loop-de-loop, soared through Amira's hair, buzzed Greer's nose, and delivered the disc back to Val again. Oz looked wounded. At 2, Spot, Val grinned. My command authority outranks your treat supply. Speaking of treats, Greer said, I've got an experiment. He pulled a sealed bag from his vest freeze-dry beef cubes, dog approved. If we bribe the beast, maybe he'll catch multiple discs. No improvising, Amira cut in. We're already 1 hull breach away from a very stupid obituary. We're inside, Greer protested. And you people wonder why mission psychologists drink, Amira muttered. Oz set a new record for vertical eye rolls in low gravity. But Greer was undeterred. He withdrew a single beef cube, pinching it between forefinger and thumb. Nature. He gave the morsel a flick. The cube floated slowly, deliciously. Fetcher registered incentives instantly. Its camera visor glowed amber. The dog's legs tucked. It oriented for intercept. But something in its software snagged. It froze. A tiny tremor ran along the servo joints, like a dog hesitating at a doorway it's technically allowed through, but morally suspects is off limits. The LED strip turned yellow, flickering. Val frowned. Doggo, return. No response. The cube drifted behind Fetcher, bumped its flank, ping-ponged away. The robot remained locked in an awkward half-pounce, 4 paws splayed like iron flowers. Great, Greer said. I broke the dog. You broke the $380 0 million dog, Oz corrected. Relax, Val said. Failsafe probably kicked in. Sensor confusion. She accessed her tablet. Come on, buddy, reboot. Nothing. Fetcher's thrusters hiccupicked, a gentle sputter, then silence. The dog began drifting, head first, toward the airlock's wall, its legs twitched spastically, claws scratching at emptiness. Okay, that's creepy, Gus observed. It looks like a zombie vacuum cleaner. Val issued override commands. The LEDs went from yellow to blinking red. It's in safety lock, she muttered. Probably flagged the food as unknown foreign object. Someone snag 'em. Amira pushed off a handrail, aiming a cautious trajectory. She reached out, but the dog suddenly kicked back, jets firing unpredictably. Amira veered, missing Fetcher by centimeters. Her shoulder thunked a support rib. She hissed, grabbing the bump. Pain scale, Val asked reflexively. 2, Amira answered. Not about me right now. Fetcher's visor relit, showing fractal error codes. The dog had rotated belly up and was now spinning slowly lengthwise, like a rotisserie pig. Oz consulted his wrist panel. Magnetic tethers offline due to safe mode. We either wait it out or we net him. We don't have nets, Val said. Improvisation? Oz replied, already stripping the ventilation mesh off an intake vent. He balled it, flung one end to Gus. Help me stretch this. They created a makeshift net between them, reminiscent of children trapping butterflies. Greer maneuvered to flank the dog, hands open. Pitcher zipped right, then left, servo coughs turning frantic. That's not safe mode, Amira said, eyes narrowing. Look at his thruster signature. He's trying to deorbit. Before she could finish, Fetcher crashed into the frisbee, which had been drifting forgotten. Both objects bumped, altering vectors. Fetcher's thrusters pulsed hard, apparently mistaking the lime-orange plastic for some high-priority target. The robot pivoted and bolted. Right into the control panel. A jolt echoed, the airlock lights flickered, the digital timer reading 2412 vanished, replaced by a yellow caution banner. Locale ATMOS circuit error. Oh, fudge, Gus breathed. Oz corrected him with a more explicit word. Val's blood went cold. If Fetcher had damaged the circuit controlling pressurization valves, the lock might start leaking. She toggled her mic. Mission Control, this is Hera Base. We have... She stopped, remembering they'd isolated comms for the break to keep the channel clear for Exosat updates. She'd have to cycle power before transmitting. That took time. Priorities, Amira barked. Stabilize the dog, stabilize the system. We got this. Greer was already pushing toward the panel. Looks like the actuator fuse tripped. He glanced at the freeloading mesh. Oz, Gus, intercept pattern, Mango Tango. The two men brightened. Mango Tango was their code for pretend to be pro wrestlers in space. They stretched the mesh net between themselves like a trampoline and bounced toward Fetcher, who was still ricocheting. Greer popped open the access pegs. Tiny plastic pegs floated out like confetti. He shook his head. Fetcher popped the retention clips. Val keyed manual override on her tablet. Doggo, system flush. Fetcher's LEDs strobed magenta, then green. It paused. Magenta again. Thrusters coughed. Then miracle, the dog's legs splayed in landing position. It calmed. The servo tone pitched downward to a restful hum. Safety lock re-engaged. Fetch success, it chirped in synthetic alto. The frisbee remained in a clamp between its forepaws. That must have triggered the routine. Catch him! Greer yelled. Mango Tango commenced. Oz and Gus enveloped the dog in the mesh, closing it tight like a zipped duffel. A carbon fiber toggle anchored through a handhold. Fetcher went still, as if accepting a swaddled fate. An LED winked sheepishly. Amira exhaled, rubbing her bruised shoulder. Now, the panel. Greer shoved a thumb drive into the access port, reprogramming the fuse matrix. Within 30 seconds, the caution banner cleared. Circuit restored. The lights stopped flickering. Pressure stable, Amira confirmed. Val wiped her forehead, though no sweat could float free. Break's over, she said. Reset gravity. Oz reached toward the master switch, but Val raised a hand. She looked at the bagged dog, who gazed back with digital contrition. One more throw, she said softly. Everyone groaned, then smiled. That was also tradition. Fetcher was zipped free, carefully. Oz held the frisbee while Greer clutched the mesh, ready. Val floated beside the dog, her finger on its shoulder button. "Play mode 2, she commanded. Parameters, soft capture. Fetcher blinked green. Oz lobbed the disc. It sailed at low speed, bounced a wall, and headed back, arcing gracefully toward the dog. Feature's thrusters bloomed only slightly. It extended one limb, uncomplicated, snagged the disc gently. Then, heartwarmingly, it turned, drifted to Oz, and deposited the frisbee on his chest. Retribution redeemed. Crew applauded. Even Amira clapped. "All right," Val said, chuckling. "Activate magnetic deck." Oz flipped the switch. The floor pulled them downward gently, simulating about a quarter G. Objects rained. Greer's beef cubes, Val's stylus, someone's loose sock. Fetcher landed neatly, tail light wagging as if none of the preceding chaos had ever existed. The frisbee fell next to him. He nudged it with a paw and barked a chirpy, "Ready!" bark. "You must be kidding," Gus groaned, picking up the sock. "Good boy," Val muttered, scratching behind Fetcher's optical sensor where the googly eyes quivered. A while later, after the pressure logs were filed and everyone swore affidavits promising never to feed the robot in zero-G again, night settled over the dusty Martian plains outside. Harabase's panels vibrated in the windless quiet, a sound only instruments could detect. Crew members floated into bunks. Greer, before zipping his sleeping bag, noticed Fetcher stationed outside Val's quarters, visor tilted in sentinel mode. He whispered through the open comm, "Guarding the boss, huh?" Fetcher's speakers emitted a single low woof that echoed down the corridor. Greer grinned and decided not to push his luck with more beef cubes. The next sol at 6:30 Mars time, Val gathered the team in the mess cabin. Steam rose from fresh water pouches. Actual hot water, a rarity. "Okay, people," she began. "Today, we install the new drill head on Rover 2 and recalibrate farm module lights and," here she paused only for effect, "ground control has forwarded something called Sectional Recreational Contingency 44B. They want a demonstration video of zero-G canine retrieval protocols." Oz choked on his coffee. "They know?" "They always know," Amira sighed. Greer shrugged, spoon halfway to mouth. "Guess that's what you get for disabling comm filters during family call hour." Val cleared her throat, mock stern. "The demonstration will occur in airlock E8 at 1600 hours. I expect full participation, no beef cubes, no tampering with environmental controls. Understood?" Gus raised a hand. "Ma'am, can we at least use 2 frisbees?" Fetcher, who had just trotted in magnetic paws clicking, heard the word frisbee and rotated his head 90 degrees, ears flicking. Val met Gus's plea with a narrowed gaze, letting suspense hang until everyone leaned in. Then she flashed a smile brighter than Martian noon. "Make it 3. Cheers rippled, echoing off composite walls. Later that afternoon, they rigged 3 high-vis orange frisbees into a mini Sarouser, tethered together with string like a cheap carnival ride. The plan? Greer would yank a quick release. The frisbees would fan out in separate vectors. Fetcher would decide which to retrieve first. Meanwhile, Oz had repurposed the ventilation mesh into an official catcher's net, approved by Subclause 44B, Paragraph 9. Mission Control patched live. A dozen sleepy engineers back on Earth munched popcorn. Camera drones booted up. Telemetry overlays glowed. "Hairbase, video is clean," crackled Capcom's voice. "And please remember the part in the memo about emphasis on scientific merit." Val kept her expression neutral. "Copy that, Capcom. We will highlight thruster efficiency, lateral position correction, and the dog's object recognition algorithms." "Roger." "Also, we're passing around a hat on whether Fetcher or Mendoza gets beamed first. That is not official NASA policy," Oz protested. Laughter cascaded through the downlink. Val cued the start. The lock entered true zero-G. A hush fell, marred only by Greer's dramatic countdown. 3, 2, 1, release! The string popped free. 3 neon discs twirled and diverged, tracing a starburst. Fetcher's visor glowed, kaleidoscope, processing trajectory data. The dog chose target. 2, lunged. A thruster misfired, intentional, purely theatrical, and spun at barrel roll style before correction. Cheers erupted both hemispheres. Fetcher clamped disc 2, spun around and actually hurled the disc back at Greer with a flick of its paw. It wasn't programmed for that. Maybe it learned. Greer yelped, dodged, lost balance, and caromed into Oz, who collided with disc 3, sending it corkscrewing into the net. All unscripted, all delightful. Val glanced at the live feed. Mission Control's chat overlay exploded with emojis. Fetcher, meanwhile, zoomed after Disc 1, which had found a particularly stable track and was cruising elegantly like a UFO. The dog cornered it against the far bulkhead, captured it, and returned to Val, tail light pulsing in triumph. "Fetch success," chirped the dog. "Science success," Val told Capcom, deadpan. "We, copy," came the stifled Earthside reply. Afterward, a small legacy. By the mission's halfway mark, Harabase weekly zero-gate canine catch became an institution. Schools tuned in. A gambling website, unofficial, obviously, sprang up, allowing Earth's population to bet micro-donations on number of successful catches per session. Funds went to a STEM scholarship, merch followed. Plush Fetcher dolls, complete with magnetized paws and clip-on frisbees. Greer received fan mail from a 10-year-old who wanted to be a biologist with a frisbee budget. Sol 2010, NASA announced research indicating that frisbee trajectories, painstakingly logged by Fetch telemetry, had improved understanding of microaerodynamics in low-pressure environments, data applicable to future drone designs. The report's cover photo showed Fetcher mid-pounce, frisbee in-mouth, googly eyes heroic in the helm light. Val posted a mission log the same day. Important discoveries sometimes come dressed like toys, and sometimes the best member of the crew doesn't breathe at all, but boy can he fetch. Back on Earth, dogs barked at screens. Kids laughed. Engineers updated algorithms. Somewhere in a Californian warehouse, Fetcher 10 prototypes were retrofitted with reinforced frisbee clamps, officially categorized under field sampling tools, but everyone knew. And every evening on Mars, after the drills quieted and the red dust settled outside, Commander Val would float into airlock E8, frisbee tucked under arm, and whisper, "0G break." Fetcher 9 responded with a wag of LD tail and the gentlest of electronic woofs, ready to play the funniest game of fetch in the solar system, 1 disc, 3 discs, or infinity, so long as gravity stayed politely out of the way.